Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I would like to share with you about what I see on the new release of the Linux Mint Cinnamon version 21.1. As a Linux user, of course I have been a distro hopper and I used to be a Linux Mint user. It's a long time ago before I became a long-time Fedora user. Actually, in this video, I feel like going to the past when I was still trying to know more about Linux, and also it's like remembering the time I was getting along with Linux Mint. Linux Mint gave me so much memory. Let's go to the official website of the Linux Mint, and we can download the ISO by clicking this download button. After clicking, we will be directed to a page where we can see the 3 versions of Linux Mint that we can download. But in this video, I will try the one with the Cinnamon desktop environment, where Cinnamon is primarily developed for and by Linux Mint. So I can say this version is the default version of Linux Mint. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. Okay, and when I click the download button, we can see the size of the ISO is around 2.5 gigabyte. It's quite big for me, so I downloaded it using the torrent method. After we downloaded the ISO image, we can try it first on live mode. So if there is going to be any hardware incompatibilities or anything like that, then we will know as soon as we try it out in live mode. Actually, the installation process has not changed so much, so I will skip the installation process. And for your information, I installed this Linux Mint on GNOME boxes with Fedora 36 workstation as my host operating system. Let's go to the Linux Mint. After the installation and reboot and login into Linux Mint, we will see this welcome screen. This welcome screen will guide us through our first steps and then show us how to find help and where to get more information about Linux Mint. I will untick this option, show this dialog at startup. Then I will click Let's Go. After that, we will go to the first steps part where we can set anything regarding desktop colors, panel layout, system backup, etc. I will just scroll all the way down to see the options that we have here from the welcome screen. I will not do any setting right now. We will do that later. Actually, after we see this first steps part, we can directly close the screen because there's no more settings we can do from here. But I want to see the menu after the first step. There's documentation, help, and contribute. From the documentation part, we can see how we can get the documentation, new features of this release, and release notes. Just click the launch button to get into the page. Okay, go back to the welcome screen. From the help menu, we can see how we can get help. There are two methods, from web forum and from IRC chat room. Just click the launch button and you can get there. And the last one is the contribute menu. This is the menu that we can get to know how we can contribute and get involved to the Linux Mint project. I will close the welcome screen, and if you need to run this welcome screen again, you can find it in the start menu and search for the welcome screen. And there's another window appearing and needs to be checked. It's the update manager window because I don't want to update this Linux Mint. So I will close this window. We can also find the update manager from the start menu. After closing all of the windows, I noticed that there's no more icon on the desktop. Usually there are some icons like trash bin icon, file manager icon. Actually, I don't remember the other icons because it's already a long time ago. Maybe the developers think that most people don't use the icon on the desktop anymore because everything can be found in the start menu, or people can pin certain launchers on the bottom panel. Let's continue to the start menu on the bottom left corner of the screen. And when I click it, we can see some menus that have been categorized. And also the important thing for me is the search feature. It's very helpful. And I also notice we have rounded corner here. Maybe it's also for the other windows. We will check it later. Let's go to the system settings where we can do some settings for our operating system. And we will try to open the theme settings. A lot of things we can do here. For example, changing the mouse pointer. I will try to use this one. Okay, so my mouse pointer is changed to Pibata Modern Ice. And the other example, changing the icons. I will try the Numix circle. So my icon already changed. I will try again. Min Y teal. Yeah. Okay, and then changing the applications color button. As we can see here, the color is blue, and I will change the color to Adwaita dark. It's so dark for me, I cannot see anything. I will use another one, this one. Okay, and then I think the theme we can also change from here. I will choose this one. Okay. Wait. I will change again the applications into this one. And if we click the add remove tab, this one, we can see so many themes that are ready to be downloaded. We don't need to find them on the internet. It's very useful for you who has a hobby to change your desktop look. I will try this one. Okay, but I need to install it to see the difference. Maybe you can try by yourself. And then after that, let's go to the welcome screen again. Welcome screen. And then we will go to the first steps. This one. I will close the system settings window. We can change also the desktop color from here. For example, I will use the green color. What it is called, I don't know. I'm not sure about the name. I think this desktop color setting will change the button that is active. And if we click this, so the theme become darker. Maybe it's like dark theme or light theme settings. So actually we can decide from the beginning the desktop color that we want. And then still in the welcome screen, now we have a tool for backup our operating system. It's a very useful thing to do before we do something big to our system. For example, trying to add a beta software that has the possibility of breaking our system. Or for example, trying to install new hardware updates, and instance our VGA card driver. Actually, we can find this program, this system snapshots, from the start menu by searching Timeshift. And then we continue to the driver manager. The driver manager also can be found from the start menu by typing driver manager. If we click this launch button, Linux Mint will automatically find the updated driver for our hardware. But since I install Linux Mint on the VM, I think it's not necessary to install anything. Next, let's go to the update manager. This part is the place where we can find any updates from applications that are installed on our Linux Mint and security updates for our system. First time I run this update manager, a notification will be seen. I will click OK, and then we can follow the next instructions. For information, we cannot see the installed application here. We can also find the update manager from the start menu by typing update manager. For your information, update manager now supports Flatpak. I will close this window and then let's go to the software manager. We can also find the software manager in the start menu by typing software manager, and when we run the software manager for the first time, it will also load the applications from the internet. It will take time for people who don't have a good internet connection. I could say that it would be better if we do the software management from the terminal. Software manager also support Flatpak now. Let's check the ready repo for the Flatpak. Let's go to the terminal. And type Flatpak remotes. We can see here that Linux Mint uses FlatHub repository. Okay, the loading process is done. I will search open board. As we can see here, it will be installed from the FlatHub repository. Okay. Getting back to the welcome screen, the last thing we can do is to set up firewall if we want. We can click launch and we can see the authentication window. We need to input our user password. After that, we can see the GUFW, which is the GUI version of the UFW. UFW stands for Uncomplicated Firewall, and since Linux Mint is Ubuntu derivatives, maybe that is the reason Linux Mint uses UFW. I will close this window. This welcome screen I will close also. Okay, let's go to another cool feature in the Linux Mint 21.1. I will open the Nemo. It's the name for the Linux Mint file manager. In Linux Mint 21.1, we have the ISO image checking feature that we can access from the file manager. And if we have an ISO image, for example, I already downloaded the Linux Mint ISO, we can directly verify it by right-clicking on the mouse on this file, like this, and then we can see a new entry in our right-click menu for verifying the ISO. click it, and then we can verify it with URL, local files, or checksum. I will try to verify this ISO with URLs. Okay, everything looks good. Verifying the ISO image before writing it to a DVD or a flash drive is a good thing to do. Okay, let's continue to the other good thing. Now we have a USB image writer also. USB image writer. It can be used for writing the ISO image to a flash drive. First thing to do before we write an ISO image to a USB, we need to define the ISO image first. For example, I will use this Linux Mint and then choose the USB drive that we want to write the ISO image to. Since I'm using a VM, I don't have any USB drive that is configured for this. But you can see here, we also have a verify button. If I click that, once again, it will run our ISO verification program. We also have USB stick formatter. This is where we can format our USB stick just like when we use Windows. You can select the USB stick and then select the file system format that you need. And you can obviously change the name of the USB stick. Okay, and then you can click format. Because I'm using a VM, so I cannot show you. Let's continue, open the terminal, and we will check the kernel version. It shipped with kernel version number 5.15. And then the last thing, but I think this is the coolest thing in Linux Mint. Now we have a web app manager. Because I haven't touched Linux Mint for years, maybe this feature was already here on the previous version before. But for me, it's new. To open this, you can click the start menu and type web apps. From here we can add a web launcher on the start menu to save our steps opening a certain website. For example, I will input Facebook. And then for the address, I will input https facebook.com. You need to recheck for sure. And then for the category, I will choose internet. So it will be in the internet category. Then the browser will be Firefox since there is only one browser installed. Then simply click OK. And let's check the start menu. and go to the internet, and we could see the facebook.com here. I will click this. We are already on the Facebook page. It saves so much steps compared to opening it manually from the web browser. Okay. Before I close this video, let me express my feelings about Linux Mint. Actually, Linux Mint helps me a lot to know more about Linux. The start menu was very user-friendly at that time because as a new Linux user, I needed to get used to using the apps in Linux, which the name was very foreign to me at that time. So I needed to search the application from the search feature on the start menu on Linux Mint. And until now, Linux Mint has the same menu. That's the reason I recommend Linux Mint for people who want to use Linux or who want to try or migrate to Linux for the first time. So this is my opinion about Linux Mint 21.1. Linux Mint 21.1 is built based on Ubuntu Jammy Jellyfish or Ubuntu version 22.04.1, which is the LTS version of Ubuntu. So it will be supported until April 2027. Let's check Ubuntu Jammy. As we can see here, this Jammy Jellyfish is the LTS version of Ubuntu. And then Linux Mint 21.1 now disabled the Snap Store and enabled the Flatpak as default. Let's check Flatpak list. So Flatpak is enabled by default, but there are no application installed yet. And then snapd list. Snap command is not found. If we do, where is snapd? Snapd doesn't even exist on the system, so snaps are not here at all in Linux Mint. Okay everyone, this is the end of this video. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.